Hello everyone, this is Mr. Informal back with a new thoughts, analysis, and rant. This time it is the Canon EOS M6 Mark II. So I'm just gonna call it M6 II, okay, just for abbreviation's sake and just to make things easier. So I'm gonna let you know right now about this camera. As usual, Canon is fragmenting their features. That's all I'm gonna say, and as usual, it is late to the party. And so let's get on to the specs first, okay? And we'll get on the price. $850 for the body only. $200 with the just for the EVF, and then if you get a body, lens, and EVF, it will cost you around $1,400. So it doesn't have a built-in viewfinder. Basically, it has a separate electronic viewfinder. 33 megapixels effective, APS-C sensors, Digic 8. 51,200 ISO. They obviously can shoot RAW and JPEGs. It has a 3-inch screen. It's not articulated. It's only can tilt, and it has a 1 million screen dots of resolution. And then the viewfinder resolution is 2.3 million, and then we get a maximum shutter speed of 1 out of 4,000. And then electronic maximum shutter speed, we're looking at 1 out of 16,000. It's pretty good. And then continuous burst of frame rates, we're looking at 14. And then we're looking at single high speed, continuous, panning, low speed, continuous, and self timer and remote. And then the format is MPEG-4 H.2.64. The video modes can shoot 4K at 30 frames per second, 1080 at 120 frames per second, 1080 at 60 frames per second, and 1080 in 30 frames per second. And it's missing the 24 frames per second, which I am going to get into. It has USB-C, but it's 2.0, not 3.1 or 3.0. It's 2.0 micro HDMI SD card, memory card. It doesn't have GPS. It will use LPE17 as its battery, and the battery life is around 300 shots of pictures. And so that's basically it. So it's coming out a rangefinder body, and it has a built-in pop-up flash. And again, the EVF is separate. It connects to the hot shoe, and the screen is tiltable. It's not articulated, and you don't see it from the side. And so that is basically for the specs. So what are my thoughts of this camera? Well, for one, it's overpriced. Number two, I don't like the design. They say it's a rangefinder body, but I don't think so. And I wish that they would have designed this as the old Canon rangefinder cameras, and I will get to that later. And it doesn't have 24 frames per second. And so my thoughts is, this is an overpriced camera, $850, that's using a old sensor. Not only that, it doesn't even have the latest and greatest features, and you know what I'm gonna get into later. I mean, I don't know what to say about this. I'm sure there's gonna be people who are gonna market this. They're gonna say this is the perfect video log camera, a video camera, because it doesn't have crop on 4K, yada yada yada. But the fact is that, come on, do we really need to talk about the separate viewfinder? So let's get on to the analysis. So in the world of mirrorless, APS-C and full frame mirrorless cameras, where does this belong? It certainly belongs in the bottom of the mirrorless bodies and cameras, because it is so outdated. It is overpriced. I think this camera should only be $500. This camera should have been what the M6 should be. And I forgot to mention that it has dual pixel AF, just for the feature wise or specs wise. And so in terms of how it's gonna move in the market, well, I don't think it's gonna move at all. I think this is what's going to be the fate of this is going to be same as the first edition M6, which is basically was irrelevant. They're probably gonna move what, 1,000. It's probably gonna get discounted. People, there's gonna be Canon fans are gonna say, oh, if you put a pancake camera, pancake lens, this is gonna be perfect for travel. But come on, you can see the electronic viewfinder, the separate electronic viewfinder, going to be a problem here. And so when it comes to the market share, Canon is still gonna lose. They're gonna say DSLR is moving so and so, but you can tell that Canon is fragmenting their camera features, and you can tell that Canon is not ready to go all out on mirrorless. They're just not. I mean, it's pretty evident. They don't want to ruin the sales of their big body cameras. It's pretty obvious. And so let's get on to my rant here, okay? And I have a big, huge list of a rant. So first and foremost, the non-articulated screen. What they should have done is just follow Fuji's articulation screen, where it tilts. It doesn't articulate, but what it does is that it flips the screen to the front. That way you can see yourself, and it doesn't tilt up, it tilts it on the side. So that means that the screen can flip onto the side, which you can see the screen when you're facing the camera. That's actually pretty cool. I don't know why Canon did not implement that. Not only that, if you tilt up with the electronic viewfinder, what's the point? The viewfinder is blocking it. And so number two, another rant is they should have never made it a separate EVF. $200 for an EVF? Come on, this should just be $100 accessory. And there's nothing even good about the EVF in terms of if it's innovative. Olympus has done this, Panasonic has done this, even Leica has done this. And so another thing is the price. $850? Are you kidding me? Just for the body? Again, it should have been $500. Crop at 120 frames per second. This is what I don't get. You had no crop on the 4K video, 30 frames per second, and yet you have crop on 120 frames per second on the 1080. That doesn't make sense. A big one for those who love taking videos, it's only no 24 frames per second mode. Are you serious? Again, they're trying to protect their big body cameras. Number 6 is a preference of mine. Instead of having a separate EVF, why don't you just include the EVF in the body to make it look like a rangefinder style, an actual rangefinder style, just like your old rangefinder cameras, just like your old film cameras. Why don't you just do that? I mean, I don't mind if it increases body, but at least it will look better. I'm not even gonna count anymore. You have a USB-C, and yet it's USB 2.0. You know the transfer of that is so slow when it comes to transferring files. Are you kidding me? Again, why not just go 3.0 or go 3.1? Just go all out. No GPS. Really? No GPS? And then last but not least, no body image stabilization. Why? I mean, the M lenses are not even complete yet. Heck, there's only a few M lenses, and I know you can get an EF mount adapter, but again, why go with this and then have an M mount if you're not even going to put all IS in the M lenses? It just doesn't make sense. So that's a big huge list of rants here, so I'm gonna go with the conclusion here. Okay, will this make noises in the camera world, or in the photography world, or in the videographer world? No. Is this camera overpriced? Yes. Is this camera price fair? I say no. Is the price of the EVF fair? No. Is the body look ergonomic? Yes. Because it has a nice grip to it. Is it ugly? Well, yeah, it's ugly. But the problem with this camera, it shows the lack of Canon actually being present with the times. This is outdated. You can see where Canon is lacking. Where is the motivation? You have the technology, you have the manpower, you have the knowledge, and yet when you present the camera world with something, it doesn't show it. And that's the problem with this camera. It is a camera that was built a long time ago, and it is a camera that is not built for today. If you somehow love this camera, then I recommend wait for it to go on sale, because as of right now, at a price of $850 or $900 or $1,000, wherever you live in around the world, it is not worth it. And so that basically concludes my thoughts, analysis, and rant of the Canon EOS M6 Mark II. I will see you in the next thoughts, analysis, and rant. Bye bye.